Yo, what's poppin' guys, and welcome back to another Scratch tutorial video, where today we'll be continuing our how to make a FNAF game tutorial series. In the last one, if you remember, we covered, Office, the Office movement, and a little bit of a darkness overlay. So, if you come into it, we have this. This is what we made last time, if you remember. Today we will be covering the doors and the lights. Should be super fun. So let's get right into it. So you're gonna start off by making a little bit of a door button sprite. I already have one. If you want it, I'll put it in the description. Or make your own button. Doesn't really matter. I just threw it together really fast. So we have an off state, which is red, and we have an on state, and I named these costumes accordingly. I just did this off screen because you didn't need to see me make it. But let's start implementing what they do. So I'll zoom in a bit so you can see. Right off the bat, when I receive green flag, we will of course hide it. And when I receive night start, what we will do is we'll begin to run how it decides where it goes. So let's go to our office real quick, and we're going to make a variable in our office called officeX. Hit OK. And then inside this forever loop, we will always set officeX to X position. This will help us be able to coordinate where we need our buttons. Okay? Okay, cool. So when I receive night start, we will set the costume to on. We're going to create another variable called left door state, since we're going to be starting with the left door. That's the door I'm going to make first. So if you're starting with the right door, make it right door state. So left door state. We will set our left door state to open. So that's what it's going to start on. The door is going to start already open, which is what we want. So left door state is open. Let's start setting up where we want it to be. So if I just go into the game real quick and I show my officeX just so we can see where everything is. As you see, it's going to be kind of hard to map. So what we can do is we can come into our office. We can come to control. We can grab an if. And we can come into sensing and do if key space. So now you see it locks, and it'll only move if I'm holding space. This is the only time it'll move. So I can come over here, let go of space, and it'll lock it in its place, which is what we want just for ease of use. We will get rid of it later. Let's show up our little button, and let's say we want it around like here, right? That's where we want it, right around here. Here's what we need to set up. We need to set up where it needs to go. So we will have it in a forever loop. Inside of this forever loop, we will forever go to, and here's where it might get a little bit confusing. I'm going to grab this that we have from the office button, or the office button, excuse me, the office sprite. I'm just going to take it. And we are going to add an addition and put it inside this X. Put this inside the back of it, inside the back bubble. And in this front bubble, you're going to start playing around with numbers. Maybe if you say, I don't know, negative 450. This is just going to be where it decides where the button is. So this is going to need to be putzed with a little bit. The Y is just how high up you want it. Mine was at 75 regardless, so that's what you're going to keep it at. Wherever how high you want it is where you're going to adjust your Y axis. So if we come in here and we start going, you might realize that first of all it didn't even show. So we should probably have it show, shouldn't we? Okay. As you see, look at that. For 450, it's there where it needs to be, right? But let's say, for example, yeah, that's still going to move because I don't have that in a space key, so don't even worry about that. So let's say I say negative 300. Look, now it goes over there. Okay, well, I liked my negative 450, so let's do a little bit less than that. Let's say negative 447. Let's see how that looks. Ah, that's perfect. That's right where I want it. But now you see, look at that. Isn't that a bit of an issue, how that kind of sticks to the screen? This is where this officeX showing it comes in handy. So we're going to watch for the exact coordinate of the office when it starts to follow the screen. So let's watch this. Okay, it started following, so let's go back until it locks itself in place. Okay, there. This pixel's when it starts falling, so we'll go back 1 pixel. 195 is when it started following us. So what we'll do is we'll grab an if else inside the left door button, and we'll do a greater than. And on the opposite side, we'll put in our office coordinate, -195. And we will do if office x is greater than 195, or where the cutoff point to when it starts following, it will show it. Otherwise, it will hide it. And what that does is, as you see, when I come over here, the button appears. As we go away, the button goes away. Bam. Now again, you're going to have to mess around with this number a bit to get it where you want it to be. Play around with the button, the number until you get it where you want it to be, and you should be all good. So, now we're on to making the button actually function. How do we do that? Very easy, very easy. In this same forever loop, we are going to create a if else. And this if else will be, oops, sorry, not an if else, I'm sorry, just a normal if. We're going to check, grab yourself an and, we are going to check if it is touching mouse pointer and the mouse is down. Again, same thing we used here to detect if our mouse is approaching the play button, same thing. Just because remember, we have an overlay being our darkness overlay instead of static this time. So, excuse me. So if it's touching mouse pointer and mouse is down, we will grab an if else. So, we are going to have 4 states that a door can be in, right? Well, technically, technically 5, right? Those 5 being open, closed, light, meaning the light is on, opening, and closing. The reason there's an opening and a closing is because there's an animation for the door. So if the door is in the middle of closing and you click it and you click the button, we don't want it to open while it's closing. We want it to finish closing and then to open back up. So, what we need to check is if our left door state is closing or our left door state is opening. If that's the case, nothing happens. Otherwise, it will check if our left door state is open. Oop, I spelled open wrong. Make sure you spell everything correctly. If left door state is open, excuse me, then what we will need to do is set left door state to closing. So we have to make it start to close. It's not closed. It is in the middle of closing. And then what we will do is also switch our costume to on, meaning we push the button. So this one actually needs to start as off. I'm sorry. And then else, we will duplicate what we just made and make if left door state closed, switch costume to off, and put door state to opening. Got that? Might seem like a lot, but don't worry. It'll make sense. Now to actually set up the door. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my office sprite, I'm going to click on the door, and I'm going to copy it. Okay? I'm going to make a new sprite, and I'm going to call it left door, and I'm going to paste it. You see how because I copied it off of where it is in the office, it goes to the same location in this new sprite, right? Same exact location. That's what we want. We don't want to move this one. So now let's set up all the doors states. We have, this is the state open. And now I'm going to animate a closing, and you can have as many closing frames as you want. Okay? I'm going to quickly animate that, and I'll be right back once I'm done. Alright, I'm back. And as you see, I have an open sprite, I have an entire closing animation, a closed costume, which is the same as the final closing. Make sure you name these accordingly. So closing 1, closing 2, closing 12, all the way down to your closing, whatever your last closing is, and then a final just closed. And don't forget to make yourself a sizer. Why do we need a sizer on the door, Deku? Well, we needed a sizer on the office, and I copied this, right? So if I don't, in turn, make the door bigger, the door will be smaller than the door that you see in the office. If that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. Just copy what I do. I promise. I promise it'll work, okay? So all that. Just make sure your sizer is the last costume. Or your sizer for your door is the last costume. Cool. Now what do we get to do? Well, it's really easy. Just drag your work from the office into your left door. And that's pretty much your code. There's a few things that you're going to want to change. Set this to do all this stuff. That stays the same. Switch this 12 costume to open. And then we will set up where these coordinates are in a minute, okay? You can take this Office X out. I'm going to personally, just because we're still putzing around with this a little bit, in here, we're going to put in if key space. This is just so that it lines up with the other stuff. Again, we're going to get rid of this if key space later. It's just for ease of use right now. Now, let's start designing where the door is going to be, okay? So, let's just take a look and see what it looks like right now as we play it. So you'll see as it loads up, and we come over to the side, the door is in the perfect spot. You can't see it, right? Until we move over to the side and it starts following the screen, right? If it's not in the perfect location, okay? If it is not exactly where your door is, which, if I'm honest, it should have absolutely no reason not to be. But if it is, putz around with these coordinates right here. Putz around with these two to make it line up. Again, it really shouldn't not line up, but if it doesn't, mess around with these for a bit. And if anything, add a plus. I don't need to. Add a plus and mess around with the number that goes into that slot and then put that back in the X. Again, you really shouldn't need to though, but just in case, those are some fixes. So there we go. We have a door that follows. I bet you can guess what we're going to do now. Let's check for the pixel when it starts to follow the screen. You move over and it starts following. You go back, stops following. There we go. It starts following on this pixel, so we go back one. 50. That's when it starts following. So we will grab an if else and we put it underneath this. We will grab a greater than symbol. We will grab an Office X and put it in the first bubble, and in the second bubble, well, we're going to keep it 50 because that's what it is. I keep voice cracking. Are you hearing this? It's getting worse. I'm doing it more and more often. So again, put a show on the top and a hide in the bottom. And if you take a look then, you can't even tell that it disappears because it's just that fluid. Dope. That's why we added these doors, by the way. All right, awesome. Now, let's make the door's way to animate itself. So, we're going to duplicate what we have here and just take out all this except the forever loop. Now is when we start setting this stuff up. Grab an if else, put an equals, put a left door state in the first bubble and make the second bubble open. If left door state equals open, you will switch your costume to open. Right? Duplicate this and put it in the bottom. If left door state equals closed, you will set it to closed. If left door state equals closing, I spelled closing wrong. Make sure you don't do that. Make sure you're always checking. If something ever doesn't work, make sure you're checking to see if everything is spelled right, because it does make a difference. So, if it's closing, we will set it to open. We will set it to closing 1. And now let's count real quick. So from closing 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 closing sprites. Don't count your closed. Do not count this closed sprite as one of your numbers. We have 15. Okay? Just in case, I'm going to check again from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. So into our events, we'll grab a repeat, put in that number, 15, make next costume, and then we will switch the costume to closed, right? And then we will set our left door state to closed. Got it? Pretty easy. Now we'll duplicate what we just made and put it in the else and set it to opening. I spelled opening wrong. Opening. Yep. So for this, we will set it to closing 16, our last closing sprite, which is why it's the same as normal closed. repeat 15 times. We can't just do next costume, it won't work. So we'll do switch costume, go into operators and grab yourself a minus and put it in there. Put a 1 in the second bubble and do costume number and put it in the first. Then switch costume to open, set left door state to open. There you go. There is your door animations. If you don't believe me, let's take a look real quick. So if we load up the game, I'm sorry if I went too fast there. So we load up the game here. Everything goes to its location. Don't worry, you've seen that stuff there, and when I press space, since we're going to get rid of the press space, you won't even have to worry about that. So we come over here. Here's the door. I'm going to let go of it just for the time being. If we hit this door button, it closes and opens. See that? Isn't that just so nice? So nice. That door animation is so fluid. So now what happens if we click it while the door is closing? Nothing. It doesn't interrupt it at all. See, I'll like put my mouse really close so you can hear how fast I'm going. Doesn't matter how many times you click it, it'll only do it once it's fully closed or fully opened. I like to do that. My voice keeps cracking so much, we're just going to avoid it. So now what happens when it's moving? It doesn't even matter if it's moving. It doesn't matter at all. You can move it as much as you want and the door will still function as normal. Fantastic. Well, there you go. You have your door. Now, what about our light? That's also pretty easy. Come to our left door, and we're going to make another costume. I'm going to duplicate this closed, make sure your sizer is on the bottom, and we're going to call this light on. Okay. Bam. We're going to do this, and then we're going to change this to just make it look like there's a light in there. Bam. Light. And we'll call that again light on. And light off is just open, by the way. Like the opposite of light on would be the open costume. So there we go. So come into our left door, duplicate all this stuff. If left door state equals light on, then switch costume to light on. Pretty easy. So let's copy our left door button. And I'm going to move that over here. And I'm going to call it left light. Oh, if I could spell light. Left light button. Only thing I'm going to change here is in this on state. If you want to copy true, Five Nights at Freddy's fashion, we will make the light button a white. And then obviously change this to say light. Center it. Looks good. Perfect. Alright, same, everything goes here. Let's change this Y because we obviously want it further down. I'll make it 25 maybe. And we'll see how that looks. So all this does the same, and we'll want to make sure. So all this stays the same. You can get rid of this left door state part right here. But all this stays the same all the way through here until we get to this. If touching mouse pointer and mouse down, we're going to check more than one thing here. We're going to grab an OR, put this on this side. We're going to check, and then I'm going to put one more OR in there. We're going to check to make sure that the left door state... Wait, actually, hold up. I'm sorry. Just to check to make the doors... Oh my goodness. Just check to make sure that the door state also isn't closed. Because if the door's closed, the light won't be able to go on. So that's what we want. So, if the left door state is open, what we will do is switch costume to on, put left door state to light on. Alright, awesome. Now, if left door state is light on, switch costume to off, switch left door state to open. Perfect. Let's take a look and check if that worked. So now we're going to see if our button's even in the right spot too. Okay. See, our light button is kind of wonky, not far down as we want it to be. Let's check 0. That's a little bit better. You know what? I like that. There we go. Light button's where we need it to be. You see, it works just the same as the door button does. So we can we close the door? We can close the door. Can we turn the light on? Okay, that's a bit weird. You see how it's kind of flickering? The reason why this one doesn't flicker is because it has to go through a whole process before I can click it again. So, what can we do here? We can just basically set a little bit of a timer. Maybe 0.5 seconds after each of these to make it run. Should be it. Close the door, open the door, turn the light on, turn the light off. It's just a timer just to make sure that we don't flicker. So light on. The door cannot close when the light is on. Door is closed. Light cannot turn on when the door is closed. When the door is closing, the light cannot turn on. When the door is closing, the light cannot turn on. When the door is opening, the light cannot turn on. Very, very nice. All we have to do is do that to the other side now. Shouldn't take super, super long, so let's just quickly do it. Let's duplicate this left door button and call it right door button. Same thing should apply. Make a variable called right door state. Now I'm going to do something that you might not be able to do if you do not have this add-on right here. It's called Scratch Add-ons, right? That's what it's called. I have a video on it. Definitely go look at it if you haven't already. You're going to have to do this manually if you don't have this add-on. So if you do have the add-on, you can do what I'm about to do, which is when you right-click this, swap variables in Sprite, and it'll change it for right door state. And then it just switches all the right door states for me. Again, you could just manually go in there and switch those out, though. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find the video on how to get this add-on. But yeah, let's continue. So now all that work was just done for us. Every single little bit of it. The only thing we have to mess around with here now is where where the button shows up. So obviously we don't want that. So maybe if I do 447 instead of negative 447, it'll be in the place I want. Maybe. That's a guess. I have no idea. We're going to figure it out. Oh, excuse me. Where is our door button? Oh, I know what's happening. Okay. So this needs to be fixed. We're just going to do that. Just so it always shows, just so I can see where it is. That did work. All right, there you go. That's all you have to do. So now we're going to check when it follows. Follows on that pixel. Negative 196. So make this negative 1. Well, you could probably just do negative 195. So put the negative there. And there you go. Should follow the same thing. Oh, wait, nope. Since we're doing it on the opposite side, we have to swap these two things around. There we go. Perfect. All right, awesome. There we go. Did that for me. Let's copy the left light button. We will rename it right light button. Simply all we have to do is make right here, this left door state. Well, let's quickly switch these around real quick. 447, negative 195, 0 stays the same. Swap these hide and show around. Come down to here, left door state, switch it to right door state. And there we go. Did it all for us. Now let's copy the left door. And I will name it right door. All we have to do here is switch this to probably negative 50 if I had to take a guess. We're gonna have to move this completely across the map. So what we're honestly gonna probably have to end up doing is remaking all these to make sure they're in the right location, right? So I'm gonna quickly do that. When I'm done, I'll be right back. Alright, I went ahead and reanimated another door animation. One thing you want to make sure of is make sure there's the same amount of closing frames as there was in your other door. See, on costume 17, I was on closing 16. On costume 17, closing 16. Again, you don't have to. If you want them to be even, do the same thing. Again, if you're going to make it a different number, just make sure you mess around with these repeats again. But since I didn't, I won't have to do anything. Right click this, swap in sprite to right door state. Does it all for me. There we go. In theory, that should be it. I might have to mess around with where it goes, but other than that, I couldn't think of anything I need to do. Night 1. Okay. The door's in the right spot. Oh yeah, we have to figure out where the door cuts off. Okay, right. So follows. -50. Oh, no. I know what we need to do. We just need to switch around these hide and show. I'm sorry. Very, very sorry. Okay, there we go. There you go. You have your game. That's that. There that is. What I'm going to do now is we're going to, as promised, get rid of these go to space. That's what we're going to do now. Just get rid of these go to space. Put in what you had. Get rid of the go to spaces. Excuse me. How are you guys doing today? You guys having a good day? I'm having a good day. I hope you are too. Okay. That should, in theory, be everything. Oh, nope, forgot the office. Oh, I can hide the Office X now. And bam, here we go. Here is your game. We can close this door, turn that light on. Ooh, I forgot to make a light. That's what I forgot to do. I thought I was forgetting something. Excuse me. So I'm going to just copy that light on the middle. Come to right door. Bam. Wait, I just did that to open, didn't I? I did. I'm an idiot, guys. Copy open. Bring it down. Light on. Ooh, oh my goodness, that's bright. Super sorry for this, guys. This is very unprofessional of me to forget something of this degree. There's your light on. Does it have a light on state? It does. Okay. There. Let's see what we have. Night 1. We can close this door, not turn the light on. We can turn the light on and not close the door. We can open the door, turn the light on, not close the door, turn the light off, turn the light on, or turn the door down, close the door on this side, the door on this side, door on this side, and everything is perfect. You might have just seen that. I don't know what's going on with that light button right there. That's kind of weird. I'm kind of interested about what's going on with this light. If it becomes a big issue, we can fix it in a later episode. It's so weird. Oh, if you keep clicking it, it moves. Is that with the door too? No. We'll fix it in a later episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then like it. And if you didn't like it, go ahead and like it anyways. Because this series is going super well so far. I like how it's turning out. I haven't had a chance to read any comments because I've recorded all 3 of these episodes in the same exact day. And I'm probably going to record 1 or 2 more of these today. So I won't be able to respond, or I won't be able to take any suggestions for future episodes for a bit. While you're at it, I want to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. That helped me out a lot. We just hit 1,000 recently. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Join Discord, link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.